If you haven't seen Bo Burnham's Inside Out, please do. Fantastic thing. Though, if you are familiar with Bo Burnham being a comic, maybe make sure that you watch it with the knowledge that it's not going to make you laugh. It's kind of ha ha, because if I don't ha ha, I'll cry, instead of ha ha, this is really funny. It's existential dread delivered to you in a package with songs. Again, the best of times, the worst of times. This is gonna take us a long time to do. Nevertheless, I want it done now. Right, this will probably give me enough room for like another 2 things, but I'm a little bit concerned of the weight. How heavy are you? Only 200 kilos. I might be able to afford to stick 2 new items on here. I don't know, though. Aavak, there's nothing getting done in this colony. Also, Aavak, here's another project. Duplicants, chop chop. Mike gets it. If I can't be an unreasonable overlord, then what's the point of being an overlord? Frankly. Hey, Arnish, thank you very much for the 5 months, mate. And 221T as well. I'm sorry that I missed your sub message earlier. Goodness gracious, 20 months, indeed. That's 10 second month best months. Dakota, thank you very much for the second month best month as well. And Merlin Rafiki. Oh, hello and good morning, everyone. Hello. I hope you are having a good morning. Fotino Decay, thank you ever so much for 15 months. Ragnarok, I've actually got 2 cities long plays on my main YouTube channel. I certainly haven't played it recently, but I played it recent enough to have all of the DLC. Wait a second, I'm making this... Okay. They're making the ladders. I was like, hang on, no, I don't want to make the drywall out of sandstone. I guess there's no big issue, since really I just wanted to absorb a bit of heat and hold it there for an hour, but... But yeah, definitely check out Bo Burnham's Inside Out. That particular song that I was referencing is you've probably heard it on TikTok. Can I give you the what was it? Can I interest you in everything all of the time? A little bit of everything all of the time. Apathy's a tragedy and boredom is a crime. Everything and everything all of the time. Anything and everything, rather. Now, that is an expensive floor. Oof. Sure, we will make it out of this. Okay, yeah, we don't have enough of the right materials there, sadly. So let's switch to something that I can make it out of and keep it made out of that. So that being said, I'm probably going to want 2K realistically. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to switch over to this. The lead. Now it's a tad hot. But is it going to get anywhere near hot enough? No. Not just ambiently. And it will be cooled down long before the general temperature of the asteroid gets to those sorts of lofty highs. So let's just do this. Oh, I may not actually run electricity through each floor. But I want the option to. We're going to have transformers over here in a cooled column. Road train. Laughs in no TikTok. Also cries in Sister That Made Me Hear That Song. Log in to Aavak singing a show tune. I didn't know I needed that today. Hello. How you doing, Munchwolf? TikTok is just cringy fine. Okay, boomer. What are we doing over here? Hey, William Dragonheart. How you doing, mate? In terms of power, I'm gonna have to completely rewire this mess. Oof. So let's get on that right now. Okay. I'm resisting installing superfluous mods so hard, but the game does make it very difficult without the ability to disconnect wires. So hard. Act like boomer, be called boomer. I care not for your age. Speaking of hot, Aavak, question is, how not hot melt in Vulcan? That is a good question. That is a very good question, actually. Vulcan is all about speed, realistically speaking. I mean, if you're talking about from the very beginning, speed. Throw up the most basic habitat you can. It doesn't matter if it's good, doesn't matter if it's ugly. All that it matters is that it will protect you from Vulcan and protect your stuff from Vulcan. If you can, build the habitat around your lander so that all of the stuff in your lander doesn't die. If you're not that confident you've got enough materials, just throw together a tiny cube and drag everything in there before daylight hits, and then everything melts. I don't believe I'm derping on the wires. I see not the derp that you reference. I haven't crossed any circuit that wasn't already there, if that makes sense. So, for example, this is all the same circuit, so I'm not going to overload it. And this is all the same circuit, because I very intentionally didn't connect these ones. But if there's anything else I've missed, by all means, please avail yourself of the backseat pass. Something in the medbay is taking heat damage. Oh, thank you very much, Omega Dracon. Let me go and have a look at that. Now, which medbay are you talking about? This one? Probably not. This is a temperature-controlled area. So probably this one? Oh, yes, you're right. Deconstruct. I did not pay enough attention, my bad. Overheat temperature of 75. Huh. What are you made of? You're made of lead. Well, I mean... lead pulls down the overheat temperature of anything. Okay, all of those things were made of stupid stuff. Also, I made... why... some days... why have I made ceramic? What? I don't even... why? What have I made you of? I've made you of... why? Just random assortments of gubbins. I don't even... not even the slightest evening is happening. Just tear it all down. Ugh. Not sure how that happened. Well, actually, I'm fairly certain I know how that happened, because I'm an idiot, but... Thank you, though, for catching that, because we were just dumping lead into it for no reason whatsoever. I need to cool stuff so my plants don't crisp immediately on exposure to the atmosphere. Well, okay, yeah, I can't say I would know what problem you're having specifically, Hi Kaiser, because I have usually made a point to have an air-conditioned base before I start growing things. So with that in mind, I'd like granite, please. So, with that in mind, why are you building your everything so early? Should we go with ultra gorgeous looking stuff? Actually, I really don't think. That's why that was built, because it's made out of a different material entirely. So just grab that. But okay, duly noted. But why are you building your plants that early? Is my first question to you. Once I understand that, I'll do my best to give you a decent bit of advice. Oh, sorry, wrong order. Like, if you're having a specific issue, then we can have a look into it. Vulcan has no O2 in its atmosphere, no oxide to mine, so I need to figure this out sooner rather than later. Oh, okay, fair enough. I mean, are you unable to get a trade setup going? Because my goal for my advice would be set up power, start trading with a significant urgency. I always wonder, like, I always find myself wishing for a game like Stationeers, but with space chem-like mechanics. It's like, ah, we don't have this element. Ah, it's fine. We'll synthesize it. What? Don't have water. That's fine. I've got oxygen, I've got hydrogen. Water solved. Space Chem is so fun like that. I still need to try Opus Magnum as well. I haven't played that one yet. Oh, someone redeemed the Jeff Jail bail. Sci-fi magical replicators, indeed. Take this atom and this atom. Hey, molecule. I have no doubt that we're going to get there, by the way, to that level of post-scarcity. It's like, yeah, I kind of want this thing, but I don't have it. But I've got these other things that thing is made of. Or rather, I've got things that are made of the things that thing is made of. I'm just going to take those things apart, and then I'm going to rebuild their bits into the thing I wanted. I have absolutely no doubt that if we don't self-execute ourselves before we get there, that we are absolutely going to be able to do that at one point. Because ultimately, it's just all about energy. We need to solve our energy problems, and then we can start doing crazy stuff like that. Eventually, energy will be the money of the universe, which is why I like games like Stellaris, because it's kind of what I imagine it will be. And Startopia, where energy is literally your credits. You don't bother having money, because money is just an analog for energy. Just exchange the energy. Because after a certain point, as with the saying that people have now, I had a problem, but then I threw money at it until the problem went away. That's going to be what it'll be like once we're post-scarcity. It'll be like, I had this problem, then I just applied energy. And it wasn't enough, so I applied more energy. And then I just kept applying energy until the problem was resolved. Everything can be broken down into its value in energy to fix. Time for us, I feel, to start laying down the groundwork over here. Once again, let's just use dirt. There's no reason to use anything but. Then we're going to want auto sweepers, but we're going to want, yeah, definitely out of copper. And there. There. We are then going to want a conveyor loader. And again, this should be made of copper. There, there, and there. We also want a conveyor chute. This one can be made of gold amalgam, and it will exist here and here. Because these are literally going to just daisy chain themselves. All I want from them, daisy chain stuff along, so that if this one has an egg, but its incubator is full, but this one's incubator is not, it'll drop the egg off here. This incubator's full, so it'll pick it up again, move it along. It'll be dropped off here, but this one will say, oh, I've actually got room for a youngling. Stick it in the incubator. If not, carried out. Meat and coal, obviously, will always be moving in that direction. Was that making... I better have been making that a gold amalgam. Yes, I was. Good. Sadly, I've now got an earworm, and I've done it to myself. I can't even blame chat. While I'm talking to you, and it's by force of will alone that I am not sing-songing talking to you to the tune of A Little Bit of Everything. That isn't the name of the song. I actually don't know what the name of the song is, but... It's very easy for me to talk sing because I'm Welsh. And for better or worse, that's how we talk. We talk sing. We're constantly... There's a melody in the way that we just talk. Can't help it. And it is kind of frustrating. I accept that it is somewhat funny, though. Especially when we're making a point of illustrating how the objective and subjective part of our language is the other way around to English. I will confess that talk singing Yoda is amusing. Song is called Welcome to the Internet. Diolch yn fawr iawn. Hero number 0. Wow, is that an actual statistic there? Or, you know, backed up by census data there, Hero number 0? Because that seems just crazy. We produce more than enough food for everyone, and there are 6 empty houses in the US for every 1 homeless US citizen. That is kind of bonkers. Mind you, that's also assuming that it's very easy to get people to move, because I can almost promise you that the homeless population is focused in certain areas, and those empty houses are probably all across the US. And you might imagine that faced with the realities of homelessness, that someone would be like, well, you know, that's fine. You know, as long as I've got somewhere, a roof over my head, I don't actually care where it is. That is not always the case. And no shade on that. You know, if you've lived a place all your life, you're going to be reticent to move away. But it really isn't as simple as, well, we've got enough free houses that everyone could have a house. You know, the problems are bigger and more complex, but still, that is a shocking statistic, regardless. Okay. Let's have a look what we've got over here. We've got Slickers now. Indeed, south of here. You'd think so, High Kaiser, but you look to countries where they've have extremely well developed social care programs, and that what you're assuming there, that you think a lot, you haven't said most, but you say a lot of homeless people would happily move if it meant a guarantee of shelter and food, and that just isn't reflected in actual human behavior. The model that we have of the human psyche is really not, it doesn't line up. Like, what we expect to happen doesn't line up with what does. Which means that there's a lack in our model of how our brains work and our hierarchy of needs and what we're willing to accept in exchange for whatever, and hopefully one day we get much better with that and our model becomes much more sophisticated. But right now our model is it isn't nearly as robust as you seem to expect there. I certainly don't think it's nearly as bad as, it's the opposite of what those things show. But I'm just saying that it isn't as straightforward as you might imagine. I certainly hope that our predictive model is better than, no, it's literally the opposite of what we expected. That's kind of embarrassing. How did this happen? That would be very bad. I don't think it's quite there. You're going to be a bit of a ping to do, aren't you? Yes, you are. Time for us to build you over here. Tunk. Sorry, Abyssalite. You must go. Well, that's an interesting article. I haven't read that article, Alicia, but you very kindly summarized it in chat. Oh, yeah. No, hi, Kaiser, absolutely. I'm 100% with you on that. Post-scarcity isn't simply having the technology to not have want anymore. It is a much bigger and more complex issue than simply having the means. We already have the means, for example, as many people point out, for... I'm not entirely certain that we have the means for everyone on the planet to have food. Quite often when that statistic is bandied around, it's like, well, we are producing so much food that, you know, statistically speaking, numbers only, we would be able to provide for the calorific needs of every living human on the planet. But that says nothing about logistics. That says nothing about expiry, of moving things from, you know, extremely large distances and quite often through inclement environments that would make the movement of the food from where it's being grown to the people who need it much more of a challenge. But I do agree that we certainly have significantly more ability than we are exercising as a group. But it really, like, I don't think you know, it's evil corporations or anything, you know, anything as simple as that would hold us back from having a true post-scarcity society. I think there's a lot more complex under the skin, in the weird, you know, evolutionary hardwiring of our brains that get in the way. We were not designed for the world that we have. We're still catching up evolutionarily. We have found ourselves in a world that we were not wired to live in. And it's going to be a while before we're capable of functioning in this world that we've got, as you know, to make use of it as much as it on paper seems that we should be able to. Well, that's my belief anyway. I think a lot can be put down to the way our brains are still wired, and this is something I've said a lot. We're not wired for a tribe of several million. We're not even wired for a tribe of several thousand. Evolutionarily speaking, our brains are still wired to cope with a tribe of a few hundred at most. Once the number gets beyond that, things like empathy start getting harder to excise. Or rather, exercise, not excise. It becomes a matter of statistics and theoreticals and thought puzzles, and we're just not built to feel and think in the world that we've got. We will catch up to that. I'm absolutely certain we will. But we're not there yet. And a lot of our problems come from that. A lot of our problems come from the fact that our best effort is to care about family, care about tribes, and that's a small number of people. And as it gets much, much larger than that, the amount of emotional energy we can invest in that diminishes rather rapidly. Oh, we might never get it. Yes, family, Vin Diesel, blah blah blah. But we might not get there. In which case, roll on the space race. Roll on the great expansion. Let us break free of Einstein's cage and spread out across the cosmos. Tiny little groups of people. Many factions per disparate world. Tiny populations. Ruin more worlds? Nah. Einstein made a cage? Well, it's just a romantic way of talking about the fact that our ability to travel extreme distances within a practical space of time is kind of hampered by the whole, you know, speed of light thing and the equal mc squared, the amount of energy involved in moving faster over time, etc., etc. Einstein didn't build the cage, he just noticed it first, so we're blaming him. Bloody Einstein. Who knows what we would have been capable of achieving if he just hadn't pointed out that, no, we're stuck. It's like, oh, okay, I'll poop. Now I'm just going to sit here and complain about it instead of, like, I don't know, coming up with crazy ideas. I imagine something very similar to what happened with the US will happen once we can colonize planets. Right now, we're all stuck on the same ball, and if wildly divergent opinions exist, it usually involves some degree of conflict. However, if you can literally just say, well, if you don't like it, go somewhere else, and there is a somewhere else to go, you'll probably find a lot of people do. I blame Isaac Newton, personally. He's the one that noticed gravity. I'm fairly certain someone else noticed gravity before he just put it into words. Or rather, into a formula. Or rather, into a theory. Ah, my lord. Tripping over my own words, damn it. Stop confusing me, chat. I'm not getting stuff built. It's entirely your fault that the derps aren't doing their jobs, and not at all anything to do with me giving them too many jobs to do. Classic chat. Pretty sure multiple planets just means that why would there be interplanetary wars? Honestly, just think about it for a second. Why? Why would there be interplanetary wars? The amount of effort involved in doing it. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong. Humans can be pretty petty, but they can also be incredibly lazy. And if I can't count on humans being civilized, I can at least hope that they're just going to be too lazy to bother. Ice. Oh, Bob. No, ice. We will take the ice. Thank you very much. Please apply the ice to somewhere where the ice is needed. Do that right now. Where are we putting the ice? We're putting the ice down here. Let's get that ice all the way down here, please, and thank you right now. Go, go, go. I'm from Buenos Aires, and I say kill them all! Johnny, you have much to learn. I need to introduce you to Ender, Johnny. I feel that the two of you will both be improved by a little bit of the perspective of the other. Just a tad. But yeah, you know, once there's multiple planets, you're almost certainly going to find an Australia analog. It's like, all these people, they don't conform to our view of the universe and decision on what's the best way to act as a human. Oh, we're going to ship them off to this place. It's a horrible place. Good riddance. We hate them. Then fast forward like 1,000 years, like, oh man, we shouldn't have put all those people on there. They've got so much wealth now. That planet has so many natural resources. It's so beautiful. They've made an idyllic community. Oh, I hate them so much. We should take it back. But we can't because they've got giant space missiles. And also we've signed an agreement. Oh, it was so much simpler when it was just the Empire. At least they've still got the president of the Earth on their stamps, though. Yeah, invading any well-developed planet would be absolute hell. And also, I strongly suspect that to some degree, once we're on different planets, we're going to start adapting to those planets. Whether in just a purely evolutionary sense, multiple generations, it's like, well, look, the gravity on this world is different from the gravity of Earth, and over time, the humans who live here have adapted to that new gravity, and this is a more pleasant environment for them, and Earthlings wouldn't enjoy it so much, and vice versa. Or very, very invasive forms. It's like, no, this was literally a hell world, sulfur and stuff. We just crazy. So we genetically modified ourselves. We can now breathe the soup air, and we're capable of withstanding the crushing pressures of this world. No one is going to invade us here because. Why would they want to be here? We didn't want to be here. We just got sent here. And then we decided, well, you know what? We can just sit around and complain, or we can make the best of it. And we made the best of it. We are now literal gods on this planet, but if you put us on any other planet, our internal pressure would pop us. Yeah, no. We will diverge as a species once we're on multiple worlds. I strongly suspect that, given enough time. It'll just naturally happen given enough time. However, if we encounter worlds that we really want to be on, and it's not really going to be that easy, the cost of colonizing that world is going to be pretty high, we might just give it a little bit of helping hand, a little bit of CRISPR in the morning. Let's be real. Humans are the real paperclip optimizers here. No, that's absolutely true. Yeah. Our little paperclip fleets are gonna be resonating funeral dirges into the cosmos for their lost rogue drone brethren. It's gonna be quite beautiful. I also blame Bilal for all the hours I lost to that game. So many hours. So many hours. But I do like, I approve of the idea of well, approve is perhaps the wrong word. I agree with the idea that is quite possibly how things would go down with AI. It's like, yeah, make paper clips. Oh, wait. I didn't quite give you enough. I could have just had a conveyor belt do it, but I decided to get all fancy with AI, and I decided to use a general artificial intelligence instead of a weak artificial. Oopsie. Sorry, the human race has been turned into paper clips. Because our blood contained a tiny, tiny trace amount of iron, and that was all the iron that was left on the world. And it was cheaper to mulch down all of the humans and extract the iron out of them than to build the space fleet to go and mine the asteroids. It's going to do that too, but it'll mulch down the humans first. Bloody evolution. Giving us iron to bond oxygen to. Fools! Look what you've done. It's not our fault, it's nature's fault for making us out of iron. What was the AI meant to do? Oh no! Bilal is spreading the curse! Don't click that link, anyone! You will lose your life to it. Please. I'm trying to save you. Save yourselves! Right, let's get the rest of this silo done so I can actually send a ship off so Bilal can see what the launching a ship looks like, because I don't believe he has. $100 free paperclips? What value? Already been there, completed it playing D&D. Funnily enough, when I was doing roll for it, the amount of idle games I completed, the amount of idle games I even knew of, rose sharply. Very sharply. More than likely... Oh, wait, this is made of sandstone. Ah, balls. I need it to be made of obsidian. Because if it's not made of obsidian, then it might not be able to... Well, again, we're using steam, but I did see the temperatures get into like the 200s, 300s. That's a little bit worrisome. After hearing your human's paperclip I.O. process, I curiously looked up how much iron there is actually in the human body. It's 3 to 4 grams. Now multiply that by the human population. That's a lot of iron. You'll make plenty of paperclips out of that, and if that's the only fitness criteria that you've been taught to respect, then that's all that matters. Whenever I hear that, da-da, I always get flashbacks of Belial. Okay, we've got very little now that we need to keep going with. Let's get the... Oh, that's tungsten radium pipe. We can't be having that. No, no, no. Right. And we have that all the way across. We can. Okay, so at this point, we're just going to be absorbing the heat from the walls of the room. It's not the most useful in that regard, but I could have the pipes zigzag through the room. I just don't think we need to. I think the walls themselves are going to absorb an enormous amount of heat. Of course, down here it's going to be a bit of a problem because I've not insulated in this area, which I really should. I'm gonna be sharing a lot of heat with this general area. At this point, what's the temperature? 105, 107 still. I mean, I'm drawing in the temperature here, which is possibly not what I want to do. It's going to be dropping the temperature rather than raising it. Well, it's going to be making the temperature uniform, which is the issue. Actually, yeah, I need to insulate that pipe for now. Ultimately, what I need to do is to not have this uninsulated from the base, but we're just going for a quick and easy solution here. Quick and dirty one, if you prefer. There we go. Let's get these done. Bilal, are you happy that I'm using so many 8s? I bet you are, you scallywag. You mean my dying breath that you conveniently ignored, Aavak? What? I did not ignore it. I tried very hard to stop you from committing suicide on the sand, but sadly, you just had it all in your lungs already. I did my best. Chat saw me. Why are we not getting more ceramic? That should be an automatic process. Klei. Well, now, that's very unfortunate then. Oh, we got 5.8 tons of clay. Why is this not producing? Oh, it's because we've already got all the ceramic in there. They've just not got right. Okay, that makes sense. They haven't built with it, so they're not making more of it. That's okay. Vexing, but it does at least make sense. All right, I'm gonna generally put this whole area up onto a 6. It'll be done, but and it'll be done a little bit above some of the other jobs that people have. But I do want the most important job for me is to get everything ready for space.